Hi, my name's Chris Haley, and I'm with my cousin William Haley, and this is the penultimate day of our stay here for the 12th Annual Roots Homecoming Festival in Banjul, the Gambia. My position in Washington, D.C. area, actually in Annapolis, is Director of the Study of the Legacy of Slavery in Maryland, where primarily I oversee a program that's been in existence for about 14 years about the study of the Underground Railroad or related facts about assisted flight. Ironically, or circular motion, it's also in the city where Kunta Kinte landed back in 1767. Cousin?
Okay. And I'm William Haley, better known as Bill Haley, and I am the grandson of Alex Haley and a ninth generation descendant of Kunta Kinte. And I'm so happy to be here at the 12th edition of the Roots Festival.
I'm thrilled and excited and honored to be here, and I just really want to share with the Gambian people how I couldn't think of a place better to be. And this is my cousin Bill Haley, who is Alex Haley's grandson, who is here also with us today.
I'm so happy to be back, and I'm certainly happy to be back with Chris, and we're celebrating our family and our heritage and our beautiful country.
Everybody expects a great connection between the people from the diaspora and their own people that are living in the Gambia.
I expect to have a deeper connection with my history, both here and in America, so that you have the two sides joining together.
We had an arrival, about 31 arrivals this evening. It was awesome. It was wow, and they felt so much at home, connected, especially for the first timers. They felt so connected with the people, with the Gambian people, and they were excited about the drumming, the cultural activities that were at the airport. It was just amazing.
First and foremost, I want to welcome home our brothers and sisters from the African diaspora who travel great distances to be here in the smiling coast of Africa, the Gambia. Let me register my appreciation, gratitude, and thanks to everyone who has traveled far and beyond to come to join us in the Gambia to celebrate the 12th edition of the International Roots Homecoming Festival.
No, I'm fine.
The reason for my being here is to welcome you, to ask you to feel home away from home, and to tell you that we are set for an exciting week of activities.
In a few hours' time, a very important ceremony will begin to recognize two sons of Binta, Masani Sise and Bakari Nyomingo.
He is a hard-working fisherman. Very early in the morning, he gets on his boat, throws his net.
My friend, my patron Masani owns the biggest shop in the whole of Bintan. Customers come from far and near to buy things they need. Salt, sugar, horom, clothes, materials, and also medicine for malaria. People who think high of themselves knows that it is a prestigious shop. Even the poor people know that. And he is generous. Wallahi.
Bakari yakadi, Nancho yakadi, Bakari yakadi, Nancho yakadi, Tuloni mano, Bakari mane, Bakari yakadi, Nancho yakadi, Hey Bakari yakadi, Nancho yakadi, Sanoni lulua, Bakari mane, Bakari, Nancho yakadi.
I am amazed at the beauty of Banjul. We should have come earlier there to witness the amazing chic of its women, the grace and ease with which she cast a spell on young men.
Are you from Dakar? We hear the men dressed as wolves come from Dakar to prey on young girls at night.
No, we are not.
Good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
Good evening. I find it strange that such lovely, fashionable ladies should be waiting for trawlers to arrive with shrimps.
Really? What's so strange about that? I mean, aren't we the ones who prepared them to feed the demanding and arrogant stomachs of men?
Hey, Anengo.
I am also head of the Alex Haley Roots Foundation in Los Angeles, California, and it was a foundation founded by my grandfather Alex 40 years ago to provide educational scholarships to Africans and African American students, and also to provide a bridge for cultural and heritage understanding. And I couldn't think of a better place than to come back again, come back home, and revisit our heritage and do that with my cousin Chris, who it is his first visit.
Yes, it is.
And you know, I'm sure he'll tell you a little bit about his experiences.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the 12th edition of the International We now await the arrival of Her Excellency the Vice President, who is just coming through the motorcade. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome Her Excellency the Vice President of the Islamic Republic of the Gambia, Her Excellency Dr. Could you please all rise?
On behalf of the National Organizing Committee, which comprises the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, the Gambia Tourism Board, the Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute, and the National Center for Arts and Culture, I want to thank you for coming, and I want to thank all the honorable ministers and managing directors, senior government officials for gracing this occasion, and also to thank Her Excellency the Vice President for coming to grace this auspicious occasion.
400 years ago, many of us left the African nation and the shores of Africa as animists, as traditionalists, and as Muslims. And by the grace of Almighty God, He has preserved us and blessed us to return back animists, traditionalists, and also Muslims. We were kidnapped when we were originally taken, but by the grace of Almighty God, we have been able to return back as free, proud, and productive Africans living in the diaspora.
It is no small coincidence that I am here today at the 12th edition of the International Roots Festival. I'm reminded that it took my grandfather, Alex Haley, 12 years of research to discover and find and write and have put on television the wonderful story of our family, the Kinte family, who came from this wonderful country, the smiling coast of the Gambia. It was almost 250 years ago that my ancestor, my great-great-great-great-grandfather, was taken away from a place he called home, from his village, from this land. He survived a journey of 86 days across the Atlantic to land in the United States in Maryland. And it's because he never forgot who he was, where he was from, that I can stand before you 9 generations later to be here in front of you. And I'd like to say that because of the generous hospitality of the Gambian people, and because of the heritage of my ancestor who, despite being taken away from his land, had never forgotten who he was, had never forgotten about his family, had never forgotten about his village, and certainly never forgotten about his country. I'd like to extend to my friends and families and members of the diaspora far and wide and say, just like I feel today, I am not saying we are coming here to visit. I say that we are coming here, that we are home. And on behalf of everyone, I'd like to say, welcome home. This is your Gambia.
As we partake in the various activities of this week-long commemorations and celebrations, let me kindly request of each and every one of us to reflect on the life of Kunta Kinte, a son of this very soil where we gather today. Let us reflect on his unfortunate circumstances in the United States of America. Let us reflect on the unfortunate circumstances of his descendants and the difficult and unbearable lives they would have lived. Let us reflect upon the challenges the descendants of his descendants have overcome since Emancipation Proclamation. And let us reflect upon the fact that despite all these challenges and indespicable acts to which they were subjected, and despite all the odds, we are still strong as a black race and as a heritage whose heads are held high and still soldiering on towards the realization of our destiny. A destiny that includes this journey that you have made to the land of the true home of the brave and land of the free, the land of Kunta Kinte.
During the week-long celebrations, we'll have the opportunity, of course, not only to visit various places of historical and cultural interest, including Kunta Kinte Island, of course, and the twin villages of Jufure and Albreda, where you will be able to see and interact closely with your own kith and kin, and to experience the close communal as well as cultural ties that bind our people. It will also be my honor and great pleasure, of course, to welcome you to my home village of Kanilai on Tuesday, the 10th of May, where the Futam Path, which is the rites of passage ceremony, will take place. In this regard, I urge our brothers and sisters from the diaspora to participate actively in this event. I also urge you all to visit the Kunta Kinte Island, where hundreds of thousands of our ancestors were held captive before being chained, like previous speakers have said, shackled, and indeed transported as slaves to what was then called the New World. And that is why today we are commemorating the Middle Passage Memorial for those people who lost their lives. The island overlooks the twin villages of Albreda and Jufure, for those of you who have been here for the first time, from where Kunta Kinte was abducted together with his compatriots and whisked away to the United States of America. Indeed, the wheel has turned full circle, like the chairperson of the National Organizing Committee has said, in that today, you, who are the Kunta's progeny, of course, have returned home, not as slaves, for sure, but as free men, women, and children to the land of your ancestors, and be united, of course, with your own brothers and sisters in the continent.
kind of been a deepening experience. I mean, I think the first time I was here was sometime around 18 years ago or so, and it was such a magical and overwhelming experience. So many thoughts and things went through my mind, and it was almost too hard to absorb. It was just overwhelming. I can say that having been here or come back again years later for the second time, when I landed, when I stepped on the soil, it felt like a familiar place called home. And then things seemed to slow down a bit, and I was able to get such a better feeling and understanding of the warmth and of the Gambian people in general, and actually kind of take in the sights and smell the air and relish the wonderful smiling coast, which I think is behind me, and really get to enjoy the fabric and the feel of this entire adventure, and particularly getting to understand the whole storytelling aspects with the griots, which was the essence of how our family story got told from Kunta Kinte on to my grandfather's ears as a little boy in Jufaray.
Tugudani kanilema, titini na lelabie, titini na lelabie. Dunadani kanilema, tugudani kanilema. Hey, nalo hoiraje, nalo hoiraje. La 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 da 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 da. Yes, I.
Kane mama isalan. Why they full personal? Mama isma. Aki nubla mage. Why full mafata full personal?
Mane de fuanga dega. Wahat ko namu dega. Mag mi dafa jekk.
Waaye bul ma fata bul ma sonal yàgg naa xam ne nag sa fit bi daf laa remba waaye léegi laa gëm ne dangay asalo sa bopp ndax kii nga nar a sóoru ni xam nga xaru dang la boo hujee bi dafa nag boy dama la sa bopp nga ne moom mooy salane waaye dee bul ma sonal.
Africa is the place where it all began. The scientists in the east, the rise of the sun, the pyramids, the circles, and the great waterfalls. I can hear my past and the distant call. The time in our history, with the saving mystery. This is the story of our African history. My ourselves from Africa, Africa, Africa. My people from Africa, Africa, Africa. My country from Africa, Africa, Africa.
Albulo kasi nyam katang ninka. Hey, albulo. Nyam katang ning. Albulo kasi nyam katang ninka di bo. Albulo kasi. Hey, nyam katang ninka di bo. Albulo kasi. Nyam katang ninka di bo. Albulo kasi. Nyam katang. Nyam katang. Nyam katang. Hey. Nasafa saf. Nasafa saf. Nasafa saf. Hey, nasafa. Hey. Nyam katang ninka di bo.
I'm the man of the year. Nobody better than me, I swear. Now I'm rocking designer. I mash up every time I hear I got a man.
Musa Katato.
Call me the lyric on Yamato. Mr. Do it for the lady.
Pasado.
Never listen to them haters.
Yakaso.
We turn up the place on fire.
Yeah.
The girl them love
Tell
our
'em.
swagger.
Yeah.
All of you hoes in Yamano, it's just on. We turn up the blaze on fire. The girl them love
our swagger.
You know it. All of you hoes in Yamano, it's just on. I'm not a dollar. I'm the man of the year.
Yeah.
Started from the bottom, now I'm up right here.
Right here, nigga.
I'm a little tiny in my hair.
How much?
They just wanna ruin all my career.
How much, sir?
I'm the man of the year.
tell him.
Started from the bottom, now I'm up right here.
Right here, nigga.
I'm a little tiny in my head.
Come on.
They just wanna ruin up my...
I believe in myself, only I can. Started from the bottom, now I'm up right here. I'm sitting on the throne and I'm begging everywhere. With my love, with my...
Baby bully. This is called love. Baby bully.
Baby bully joy, baby bully joy.
Baby bully. One drum set to ya. Like every day, say Christ like a... Baby bully joy, baby bully joy. Ha, baby bully joy, baby bully joy, baby bully joy.
Sisa Njaay muy sa baay, Omar Pelour muy sa baay, Kumba Ñaar Fatou Ñaar ku mu ñu sa Njaay sa wale.
waaw waaw def ñëwal gisuñu dara dégguñu dara ñu dem man sama yaay aaw la mooy de waaw waaw
Hey! Pintambolonda la masane sise. Hey! Pintambolonda la masane sise. Manyo bekumbola kema. Gambia kunumana bima benyadi. Gambia kunumana bima benyadi. Animente banko gambe kadiata. Pintambolonda la masane sise. Pintambolonda la masane sise. Manyo bekumbola kema belare. Gambia kunumana bima benyadi. Gambia kunumana bima benyadi. Animente banko gambe kadiata. Pintambolonda la masane sise. Pintambolonda la masane sise. Manyo bekumbola kema belare. Gambia kunumana bima benyadi. Gambia kunumana bima benyadi. Animente banko gambe kadiata. Hey, loho ini. Na loho idaje. Hey, loho ini. Hey.
It's so, I guess, daunting in a way when someone the Department of Tourism, the Gambian Department of Tourism actually wanted us to come here and invited us as their guests to participate in this 12th Annual Roots Homecoming Festival. And in and of itself, that was a blessing. Because I remember many people had spoken to me about, have you ever been to the Gambia? And I would say no, because that was a true statement. I never had been. And it's hard to, when you think about if you're going across the seas, you don't want to stay overnight. You don't want to stay for a weekend. You want to stay for a significant amount of time when you get something out of it. You allow yourself to absorb it, so to speak, such as Bill said. And so within that, I sort of did a prayer to some degree. Like, you know, if someone were to, I guess someone help facilitate an offer which I couldn't refuse, that I couldn't keep coming up with reasons, whether financially or schedule-wise. Well, I just can't fit it in. I couldn't do it because I'm doing so many different things. And then when the Department of Tourism for the Gambia offered, basically invited us to come here, it was just like, how could I possibly turn this down? And checking with my employer at the State Archives in the Legacy of Slavery Program, research program, said, sure, go, please, by all means. There's no way you cannot do this. It was just, then it just became a matter of, wow. Then thinking of, how do I approach this? How do I prepare for this? And so there's all the regular things you do about, okay, this is overseas travel. I have to go check about what shots I need, you know, how many clothes I'm going to wear. Is it tropical to the point where it rains a lot, or what is it? So you think about those sort of general day-to-day necessities. And then there's the spiritual connection, which you think, you expect, you hope is going to happen, and to some degree you fear is going to happen because of what our whole entire story is about.
There's an idea of mummification. It's like what is laid out like this on red platform, allowing its water content to go out the body.
When anything vibrates, it goes off first. Don't feed them on the fish. Feed them twice a day. You never touch it? I've never touched it. No, I've seen a lifetime.
I'm feeling his mouth with a different teeth.
The modern carnival says.
Have any ever attacked? No, it's okay.
This is my second trip to Gambia, and the reason why I came back this time is because, as it says on my cap, you know, we love Gambia. It's a wonderful country. There's so much here, and for me, there's so much more to see. The people are, I find, incredibly friendly, very friendly. They call this the Smiling Coast, and you know, it's quite obvious to see why once you land. It's hot, it's sunny, the food here is excellent, the people, and it's a very, very warm, very welcoming environment, and all of the different events that they have for the Roots Festival are also very interesting. There's a lot of deep history, and it's very educational and quite informative as well. And I've just had, again, this is the second time, and it's another great experience and so much to talk about. I'm here to capture as much media as I can regarding this wonderful country, and take it back home and let people see what Gambia is about. To have more people visit Gambia, have more people, you know, embrace the culture, the very rich and diverse culture that they have here.
enjoying this, and I'm also here to try to help show other people with my cousin how they can enjoy this. And through day one, through I'm sure day tomorrow, it's going to be just a wonderful ongoing experience of going back in history about things that we think that Kunta Kinte may have experienced, may have either walked the land, walked through the sand where we walked in Zufere, or just heard about, which was common knowledge or common oral history shared with other villagers, to experiencing the different things that were offered to us by the people here.
Now I think the first thing we should do is offer prayers to the departed ancestors.
Firstly, I'd like to thank our ancestors and the Almighty, or whoever we reach out to. For me, it's the universe. I want to pay homage to our ancestors for the way that they've paved for us, for what they endured, for all that they had to take on for us to be here today. And I want to pay thanks to, and I'll name a few, Nanny. Nocturna. Thank you. Come on, you name them with me. Pay homage.
Denmark Bessie.
Busa.
Shaka Zulu.
That's right. We give thanks. Ashe. 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 Queen Nzinga. Ashe. We need to, Ashe. We need to remember our ancestors. Ashe. 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 Remember our ancestors, not only today that we're here. Take away. Ashe. Take away from here. For us, when we go back to wherever we came from, we need to remember today and pay homage each day of your life. When you're back doing whatever you're doing with your families and your community, don't just come here and go away and think, oh, I've been to the Roots Festival. Remember our ancestors daily. Let them be your driving force. Yes, we have to move on from history. A brother said that earlier on. Yes, we can't keep holding on, but if we don't know where we're coming from, we certainly ain't going to know where we're going. So please, I'm asking you, make use of today, for this is a great moment and a great time. I want to also rise up Alex Haley's family for being here and remembering his memory, and Kunta Kinte's family. We must pay homage to them. And our family, I am going to say, remember my father, Ferdinand Graham. And those of you who want to remember anybody that is in your family.
Francis Williams.
William Body.
Henry Smith.
Wilson Stevens. Louise Palmer.
And all the unsung heroes and sheroes.
And the children as well.
That's right. So I want to thank you all. I want to thank you all. And if I had some white spirit, I would pour some libation now, but we will do that in our memories. So
water
can I have
is
some
enough.
water? Can I have
Water
some
is in
water? Thank you.
One of the great things about this trip for me is that one, I've got to travel such a great distance with my cousin Chris. I mean, because in terms of our family, our generation is probably the now at this. Forgive me for thinking that I'm old, which I don't feel that way, but we're really the front line of our family. And so the people in our family that are behind us, our children and nieces and nephews and cousins, we're the folks that are going to make it possible for them to continue to come back to this land, to this place, and have them have a better understanding of what it means to come home to your origins, to your heritage, where everything began. And that's no small thing. I think the first time I came here 18 years ago, I was with my father, my late father, and we actually took a tour. We had a tour of people that we took to the Gambia, to Jufere and Banjul, and one of the things that I did not realize, even though I enjoyed it and it was overwhelming, is I was actually working. It was work for me. So my perspective is completely different now. I've actually come here as I don't want to say a tourist or a traveler, but I've just come home. And so it's made it all the more richer, not only to have my cousin who is my family member from the West, but also being in our ancestral home and being able to absorb, as I said, the experiences, not as someone who had a particular task, but as someone who knows that this is a place where I or you or we came from. It's a completely different and relaxing experience for me, and I don't think that it would have been the same if I would have been here by myself, or Chris would have been here by himself.
It would have been so different if I had been.
It's family meeting family, and family meeting our larger family and our ancestral motherland, and I can't think of a better way to have spent literally these last 10 days or so.
Relating to people back in America or the UK or the Netherlands or whatever, that there really are some great experiences that you can have here in the Gambia, which I had no idea about. And you look at tourism guides and you see these glossy pictures, and then you read stories, and then you see our story portrayed in Roots, both the classic of 1977 and certainly by the time this airs, the new one of 2016. And so you can't help but get visions of the Gambia still in that way. And of course that's what 51 years ago when Kunta Kinte lands in Annapolis, Maryland. And so to come there today to see the difference from that time frame, that time period, in its harsh reality of then to the reality of now. And the fact that we come here as guests of the Department of the Tourism of the Gambia, whereas he was kidnapped from this area as an enslaved African, and just how different that is. We are guests. He was a kidnapped victim. Because we are so blessed to have an uncle or grandfather who's trod the road before us, may pave those steps, that we have a direct connection to someone who preceded us. And so many other people who don't have that direct connection, we hope we offer to try to take some of those steps themselves and feel the similarities.
Our family belongs to the Mandinka tribe, and originally we are from Mali.
It's because even though they may not know a name for their ancestor, they know it happened if they are of African descent or mixed descent with something that happened to the West Coast, that there was a similar journey for their ancestor as well, and to allow themselves to feel that journey.
So according to history, before this child was born, the people of this family knows about that they are going to have the Mandinka warrior. He was born in 1750, according to our family. So when he reached to the age of 14, that was the time that he's a man that his back never touches the ground. He's a great warrior. He's the only one taken to the bush school, which is circumcision. If you can realize now we have schools. But in those days we don't have Western education. So the only way we can educate our children is the bush school, the circumcision field. They stay there for weeks. That's where they show them the non-term values, signs and symptoms. You can never see a Gambian adult going in a room of an elder with a shoe or hat. These are signs of respect they taught them in that field.
To walk along the beach, to see the Gambian river, and remember, and to think that that's the boat, the ship that they sailed upon without knowing where they were going, but probably fearing for sure that they will never come back.
He was sent to the bush school where he became a warrior. Then at the age of 17, in 1767, he left for San Domingo. He went there to search for, he was sent to fetch firewood and also to make a drum for his brother. We use firewood here to cook our meals. So this is the mission that the great man was sent for, and he was never seen back. They normally go with their bow and arrows, spears and cutlasses. So they had their dogs barking on arrival there. They thought they saw the animals, while they saw the Portuguese running after them. In those days when they saw the white collars, they are very scared, they have never seen it before. So they would run away. My mom used to tell me that even when Alex Haley came here, she ran and hid under the bed, thinking that they have come to capture them again and take them. So in those days, that was how it was. Kunta Kinte's police run, they told him to run, he refused. He said those people are human beings like him. He wants to know what type of people they are. So he stood to fight. But as the saying goes, one man cannot fight a dozen. So he was overpowered. They put chains on him, captured him, and kept him at San Domingo, a slave prison, for 2 nights, and then later he was transported to the Fort James Island. Some of you saw the dungeon today. And through the efforts of President Jammeh, the name of that island has been changed to Kunta Kinte Island. So we feel very honored of that.
And I know that sounds daunting and awful and kind of horrific, but at the same time, you have to remember that you are here, because ultimately they probably did survive that journey if you are here. And if you're watching this documentary, then you are here. So then you have to thank whichever God you worship, that they persevered and they had the strength and the willpower to do so. And so to feel good about whatever you're experiencing now, because they experienced whatever they experienced over 250 years ago.
And out of more than 25 million people in the diaspora, Alex Haley was the luckiest to trace his roots in this compound, right in this place, in 1967. So he met my late grandmother, or grandfather, Keba Kanye Fofana, who narrated the history to Alex Haley. So he was able to write the book Roots and produce the film.
Okay, my name is Deidria Farmer-Pellman. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, in the United States. I first came to the Gambia in 2007 to learn about my history. I'm a slave descendant. My ancestors were living in Africa, but I didn't know where. But I took a DNA test, and I learned a couple of different countries. One of them is the Senegambia region.
Blood is thicker than water. Yeah.
One of the highlights that I have from this weekend is visiting Jufuri, Kunta Kinte Island as well. It was exciting to be there, for example, with the descendants of Alex Haley, 2 of his family members there, and to see them interact with their family members. I mean, they have something that I don't have, and most African Americans do not have. I think as an African American, it's special to travel to Africa, but it's very hard to feel completely welcome without knowing who we are. You know, I mean, that's so critical to any human being, to have an idea of who their family members are, or even what their nationalities are outside of just being American. So going to Kunta Kinte Island and seeing the joy and the happiness that they, for example, Chris or Bill experience dancing with their relatives, it's just wonderful, and I would love to have that same experience as well.
My grandma used to say, if you throw a piece of wood in the middle of the water, even if it stays for thousands of years, it shall never change to be a crocodile. Yeah. So you live abroad, but you will never be African. Yeah. So he said, by looking at the nose of the two,
Hi, my name is Khalila Muhammad, and I am here at the 12th Annual International Roots Festival because I wanted to come here and get that full experience of the motherland. This is my very first trip to Africa, and I have been so super excited, and it has been everything I expected and then some. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but the treatment that we have gotten here is like we're distinguished guests. You know, coming from the U.S., Alabama of America, it has been such an amazing experience, like really no other experience I have had. The people are warm and wonderful. The festivities are just so colorful and bright and meaningful, and everything we've gone to see, from the museums to Goree Island, which has been such a dream of mine to get over to Africa and go and visit. Standing there in the door of no return, thinking of my ancestors, it has just been one great big amazing experience, my being here.
Well, my name is Joseph Lee. I am from Huntsville, Alabama. I am a retired professor at Alabama A&M University, and I think this is an opportunity to link back to my heritage, my ancestry. In America, we have lost the contact to Africa. And I think the Roots Festival is an opportunity to reconnect, bringing the circle completely back around in terms of our leaving this place and now beginning to return. So I think the festival is a very important event and would like to see more Africans from America to return. It's a wonderful event. I think it's an opportunity to help rebuild Africa, and it will be very wonderful to see Africans in America returning here to help rebuild not just this country, but all of Africa.
all the past episodes of the Roots Coming Festival, it has always been very wonderful and always more entertaining here in Kanilai. Maybe some people don't even know the essence of cultural exchange and the knowing of each other's culture. Because the lack of understanding of each other's culture is what is creating problems today in the world. Without cultural understanding, there will be no world peace. Those who do not understand what Islam is, what a true Muslim is, come to the Gambia where you see true Islam. Because Islam espouses love, harmony, and togetherness, that we are all equal. In this country, nobody is beaten because you are black, or you are white, or because of your religion, or because of your nationality. That is what true Islam is all about. And that is why we are called the Smiling Coast. Because Allah says in the Quran that we must love everybody and must welcome everybody as good Muslims. This country is for all human beings, irrespective of race, creed, or religion. On this case, I declare the Roots Festival open, and the initiation ceremony will start with the elders. You are 7.
Or seek for the ancestral blessings. There are so many things involved. One, as you can see them, an aunt of the initiate.
Hi, my name is Kim Harris, and I am from the Washington, D.C. area of the United States. I have come to Gambia and Senegal for the first time. I've never been to Africa. I am a senior citizen of 58 years old, and it's been a lifetime of trying to get here to this country. I'm from a very large family of 10 children, and my dad wanted. Excuse me. My dad wanted to come here 20 years ago, and he talked about it for years, and he never made it. So when I got off the plane last week, my sister suggested that I say, "Daddy, I made it home." I made it home. This has been an amazing experience. I feel right at home. I feel when I hear the music, I love it. I feel right at home. The people have been warm and welcoming. Anyway, this has been an amazing experience. I'd like to continue it and do it again, come back. And it would be wonderful to know what my tribe is.
I only hope the guests are following. The display of knives, hacksaws. Show them the bullet, show them the bullet. That's the bullet, it's a live bullet. It's going to insert it in the gun now. You can even be given the bullet to have a feeling of the bullet. Come fast.
I'm really happy to touch this country, to see the culture, to see wonderful, joyful, colorful people. And I tell you, you have to come to see it by yourself and to experience djembe with dancing of these people is one of the time in your life that you can see and you can feel. Come to Gambia.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
You like it?
It is wonderful. Thank you so much. Like you said, this is the smiling coast of Africa. Everybody is invited to come and experience the diverse culture we have, the friendliness of the Gambian people, and our hospitality. So don't miss out. Come to the smiling coast of Africa. It's the place to be.
Now you have to sing.
I'm not a good singer. Maybe she has to train me later.
One of these mornings, you're going rise up the singing. Then you spread your wings and you take to the sky. But till these mornings, there is nothing can harm you. With Daddy and Mommy standing by.
Of the diaspora, the African diaspora. So they've been recognized by their families. They've been taken to the bush to let them know the traditional wisdom of their families, and now they are receiving them back, and we are here in the president's house to dance with them and celebrate that they have come back from the bush.
I believe you will all agree with me. Right from the morning till now, we have all been enjoying the ambience and the manner in which the program was coordinated. Once again, let's give them another big round of applause.
There's one thing I think is so beneficial when you come to a country, so to speak, a foreign land, when all you have are what you see at your home. So there's perceptions that are fueled by whatever the media presents, by other documentaries or by old historic stories. And then when you come there now, you see that perhaps it's not as savage or wild or freewheeling as you've been shown or as you read about, or that terrible things are happening 24/7. You see that people are here vacationing and having a wonderful time. And of course, that said, there are certainly some examples of the haves and the have-nots, which is a part of the reality of here. But then you think, well, that's the reality of where you are as well. So people here live with what they live with. Where you are, you live with what you live with. And so perhaps the only difference is your circumstances. And so engage, allow yourself to experience other circumstances.
What should the economic and political priorities of Africa be in the 21st century for accelerated growth and development? That is not a light issue. That is not a talk shop issue. That is an issue for survival. It is an issue to determine Africa's respectability. It is an issue that should bring Africa to the point where it begins to take its place in the global format.
I believe that it is a serious irony of fate that following more than 50 years of independence from the yoke of colonialism, Africa, despite its substantial mineral resources, continues to be listed among the poorest and the most underdeveloped regions of the world.
Africa has been a surrogate continent. So my paper examines critical issues to the development of Africa in the 21st century and what should be the areas of priority. The aim of my paper is to interrogate issues of governance, democracy, and economic development, which are of paramount and common concerns to the continent.
This historical materialism has to do with the methodological review of Africa's past. You review Africa and you realize that, of course, without the European intervention or European intrusion, Africa wouldn't have been poor to this extent. Yes, there are some strong arguments that were advanced to that regard, because some were saying Africa was, the economy of the African continent was booming before, European colonialism, which we believe some have an opposing opinion as to that, because the question that they're asking is, why was it that immediately after colonialism, still Africa is facing some of these challenges?
There's things that come to mind and which I want to share with you, and that's that from what I do at the Maryland State Archives in speaking about legacy and speaking about family history and speaking about slavery, I often talk to people about family and about who we are as people, and I do mean people of African descent, but I also mean people of European descent, because so many of us during the institution of slavery had a mixing of our background. So, and there's no denying that many of us who are some complexions out there compared to my complexion here, that there was some mixing of our backgrounds. And certainly in Roots, the saga of an American story, the saga of American family, it was about all people. And whenever I do a talk, I always bring up first and foremost 2 pictures of my great-great-great-grandparents. One is Chicken George, the other is John W. Fulcher on my mother's side, who was a Confederate colonel in the Civil War. And I say to people, no matter, to set them at ease perhaps with whatever I say, that I am a part of both these people. So if I say something that perhaps offends you as a European, know that I have European blood within my soul. Know that I have African blood within my soul. So I only mean to speak things that hopefully are real and not offensive, but so that by saying things that are real, we can move forward.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, tonight is not a night for the expression of anger and the despair, but a night for celebration. It's a night for us to celebrate our unity through our cultural diversity, and a night to rejoice with you, our homecomers.
A special welcome to all our brothers and sisters from the diaspora. Whether you are from the UK, whether you are from the Caribbean, whether you are from the United States, wherever it is that you have come from, we want to welcome you as we have done over the past few days, and to assure you and tell you you're home away from home, and we are no more of a Gambian than you are. To you all, we say Assalamu alaikum. Ladies and gentlemen, there are some people who've continued to come to the smiling coast of Africa to celebrate the International Roots Homecoming Festival. And some of them have been doing it for the past 10 years, some for the past 6 years, and some for the past 4 years. Bear with us as we recognize these people. The certificate reads, 12th edition, the International Roots Homecoming Festival, May 2016. Certificate of appreciation is hereby awarded to. We have the first 3 people who would collect their certificate from the high table. These certificates will be presented by Her Excellency the Vice President.
one of the remarkable things, and again, it's sometimes when I remove myself from my daily life in the West, I find that when I look at groups and families and people in our family and other families, even though there are modern, what I call distractions like our cell phones and other forms of technology which are inherently distracting in the West, very disconnecting, as a matter of fact, from other people, I still find that despite the fact that everyone around here has a cell phone, that in a greater, larger sense, there's still that very direct connection and contact with each other as family. It's not, two people are not sitting across from each other and essentially texting each other or texting the person right across or texting the person around the room, which I've essentially experienced when I'm back home in California. People actually take the time to look into each other's eyes and listen to what you're saying, talk to you, hold your hand, get into a spirited discussion. It's about a connection.
That's where we have 4 floating houses, which are amazing houses. You be in there, you never feel any sick. And each house is having a boat attached to it. In an event you want to go to a restaurant, you don't want to use the inland bridge, you can use the boat to the restaurant.
Gambia! Beautiful smiling coast of Gambia.
Well, we sincerely want to thank the Department of Tourism, the Honorable Minister Benjamin Roberts, the Deputy Minister, the Director General, and on all the different personnel. I said I don't want to name everyone else because I'll forget somebody, and then they'll smack me the next time they come by, or they'll push that cow in front of me, and you know the Jeep will keep going.
Everybody's getting closer.
But you know, it really is kind of a dream come true, and I don't want to overstate anything. But the fact that they invited us over here and just asked us really literally to enjoy and just invite our family back as much as possible for the next Roots International Homecoming Festival is just a privilege that I know is a blessing that not many people get.
I can't say that I can't think of how or where I would have had a better experience. They are very committed and interested in having the story and the culture of Gambia told to more and more people. I think, you know, it's almost like this little nestled gem that people knew about Roots. They knew about, okay, it was from this village of Jufere and this place called Gambia. It's called the Smiling Coast. But there's so much more. again, we are profoundly grateful for their efforts, and we certainly look forward to being back in 2 years for 2018 and bringing more of our family and friends and exposing them and showing them what a wonderful place it is to be here in Gambia, the Smiling Coast.